Hey guys, it's Olivia, and welcome back to Live in Literature. Thank you so much for all the love and support I received in my last video, and if you have not seen it yet, feel free to head on over to my channel to check it out. Well guys, as you've seen the title from today's video, we are talking about men written by women. Woo, 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 woo. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Men, men, men.
Man, 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 man.
I'm so excited because if it wasn't clear from my reaction just then, I love men.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
I love men. And to be clear, I love fictional men. I like fake men. I like men written by women. I don't like men written by men. And I don't like real men, to be so clear. But I love men written by women. Okay? And here's the thing about men written by women. All right? Here's the zhuzh, here's the gag. All right? And this, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone. Like, I don't mean to offend any men out there. Hey, men watching this, I love you. You're awesome. Thanks for supporting great literature. You have excellent taste. But to be so clear, I love men written by women, okay? I do. I just do. Because women know what women want. Women know what women are thinking and how they want a man to act. And the things that I love about men written by women are things that, like, you don't normally see in, like, real life, I feel like. And they're things that I feel like you have to really, like, they're just completely unrealistic, first of all. Because a lot of times they're murderers, which, like, hot. Murdering is hot. A lot of them have to deal with, like, crazy fantasy powers and or, like, magical abilities, which, like, not real, but also hot. Super hot. And let's be real, a lot of them also have crazy trauma, which, as I've said together, let's all say it together, class, trauma makes men hotter.
Though honey, it may seem impossible, that's the gospel truth.
In literature, okay? In literature, trauma makes men hotter, all right? Don't take it too seriously, guys. It's just for fun. But in literature, it's just trauma makes men hotter. It does. It makes them sexy. And so I am so excited today to talk to you about some of my favorite fictional men written by women. Because like I said before, I just feel like when women are writing a man, they're writing the kind of guy that they want to experience. And the kind of guys that they want to experience are reliable, they're attentive, they're strong and powerful, they're insanely gorgeous, but also insanely flawed. And that's something I want to make very clear, okay? Like, none of these men are perfect. There are murderers, thieves, scoundrels, horrible people. They've done horrible, horrible things. And they will continue to make horrible, horrible mistakes. And I think that's why we love them, because they're gritty and gross and grimy, but they also have this, like, innate desire to, like, protect and be there and, like, be attentive to, like, the person that they love. And, like, it's the devotion. It's the devotion of these men that makes them so desirable. Even though they're so flawed and they've done so many things that aren't right, it just doesn't even matter because of their innate devotion and the banter and the commentary, the intelligence, the strength, like, behind them that makes them so desirable. At least to the people that I've spoken to. Again, regardless, you might not find some of these men as amazing as I do. I think they're all incredible. And all the books I'm going to recommend for you today are also incredible, that have amazing fictional men written by women. Again, this video is not mean to offend any of my mans out there. Man, I love you. You guys are awesome. I know most of you are good. Sometimes it's really frustrating on this channel because currently in the dating pool and it is not pretty out there, the kind of men I'm talking to, when my fictional men are so beautiful and so gorgeous and so just deliciously perfect, but so imperfect at the same time. And that's just what I love about them.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
They're amazing. And so I can't wait to talk to you guys about them today. So enough of my rambling, enough of this nonsense. Let's get into men written by women. Let's get started. The first one I want to start with, and one that is like swept book talk off its feet and the book world, is Zaden Ryerson from Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Now, you guys already know my thoughts about Rebecca Yarros. I talked about the Fourth Wing in general, how I love Fourth Wing, but also it's not the most well-written thing. But you know who is well-written? Zaden Ryerson. You know who is so hot and so sexy? Zaden Ryerson, okay? Like, he's an extremely flawed individual, all right? He's a liar, he's a scoundrel, he's mean, and he's cold. But I kind of love the grumpy sunshine trope, and I feel like Zaden and Violet kind of like have those moments together. Zaden Ryerson is like a general. He's like a leader in the ranks. I think leadership makes men hot. I think riding dragons makes men hot. Okay? I'm saying very like, no, people know this, okay? Riding dragons makes you hotter. Sorry, it does.
Sorry, Jennifer, I don't make the rules.
And I would say Zaden is one of Book Talk's favorite like shadow daddies, because he's got like shadow powers, which like he can control the darkness, and like that's hot.
There's no sunshine, only darkness.
For many reasons, Zaden is very, like, desirable. I will say, like, yes, he's all those things. He's corrupt, and he is, like, scheming. He's a secret keeper. He doesn't always tell the truth, but things that we love about him is that he's very honorable. He is extremely defensive of Violet and wants to protect her at all costs, and he loves her with his whole heart. And I do believe that. Like, some people on the internet, like, listen, they might not think that Zaden's, like, keeping secrets, or that he's trying to keep things from her.
Well, she's a liar and an idiot. You should roofie her and shave her head.
Personally, for me, I don't mind the fact that he's keeping secrets. He loves Violet, okay? With his whole heart. And I just kind of wish that she would accept this side of him. But, like, listen, I don't think secrets should be kept between people. But, like, for the sake of what is going on, I think they're necessary to protect what he's protecting. So, like, I get it. It makes me, I would be anxious too if I was Violet. But also, like, I feel like you gotta trust your mans. Granted, though, I'm biased because, let's be real, as I said, he's very attractive. Love him, though. Love him. So, regardless, like, he is all of these things, but he's extremely handsome, very protective, very, like, intelligent. I will say his intelligence is amazing. His, like, battle strategy and his planning is very intelligent. And I will say, like, for those of you who have read Iron Flame, the throne scene, need I say more?
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I'm a little lost, but fair enough.
Like, he's a man who knows what's going on. He knows what's up. He knows things. He's intelligent in more ways than one, if you know what I'm saying. So, that is why I love Zaden Ryerson. Listen, the book might not be well written, but, like, he's awesome, and I'll read about him all day long. I'll be eating him up breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because he's delish. Get a load of Zaden Ryerson. You want more of this. Next, we're going to be talking about one of my most favorite recent fictional men. My recent obsession with vampires is Serpents in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. We are talking about Rain. Rain in Serpents in the Wings of Night. Rain. First of all, vampire. Hot. If you're a fictional thing, hot. If you're a fantasy creature, hot. Hot! It's hot, okay? Like,
I'm about to talk about this man. And apologies to this man, but it's sexualization time.
he's a vampire, which, like, at first I, as you know, like, I've been going through, like, my vampire phase where I was really against vampires, and now I'm like, ooh, vampires. Kind of into that. Yeah, so definitely he started the vampire fixation. Thank you, Rain, for that one. Mwah, love you, baby. Basically, Rain and Araya end up working together in this book at a Kajari, which is essentially this major competition where all these other vampires are competing. Araya is a human, he's a vampire, but they end up, like, becoming, like, partners in this thing. And the things I love about Rain is that his banter. He's got great quips. He's really strong and gorgeous. He's got wings. And as we all know on this channel, wings make you hotter. Hey, if you've got wings. Something else that I love about Rain is that he talks a lot about humanity. Like, as a vampire, a lot of the vampires in this society don't really care about the humankind. They don't care about humans. And Rain does. Rain cares about humans, and he cares about humanity, and he cares about protecting the people who cannot protect themselves. And that's something that's really, like, honorable about him. Like, I feel like he knows that, like, you know, he's not always like gonna make the right choice or the right call, but he wants to do his best for humanity and not just vampire kind. Like, he wants to do the best for the humankind in this world. And if you're even familiar at all with this sort of world that Chris Broadbent has built, it is terrifying. It's scary. Like, I was terrified reading this. Like, I'm scared for Araya the entire time that she's in this book. Absolutely terrified for her. But Rain, like, makes me feel less scared because he gives me hope that other vampires can be more like him, be a little bit more like self-conscious and more aware of their humanity and more aware of like the other humans who live in this world. And I just think that he's so incredible. I think he's extremely protective and extremely like, I also really like that he just like lets Araya do her thing. Like, he very much is like, no, stand back and let her go. Like, she's gonna figure this out. Like, she can take him. She's strong. She is powerful. I'm gonna stand back and let her make her moves. And I really, really respect that about him, is because I feel like, see, something about like Zaden in the when I was talking about him before is that he's really protective. I feel like he also lets Violet go to a certain point, but I feel like he's a little bit more like alphaness about it, of like standing in the way. It's giving kind of like frat boy energy, just like a little bit. I feel like Rain really like trusts Araya to like make her own decisions, and he's just kind of like, yeah, go for it. Like, I'm here to support you, but also like, you do you, queen. Like, love that for you, supporting you. He really trusts her to like just go out on her own and like really like do battle when she needs to do it. And I really love that about him. It's really just like men supporting women. And of course, I mean, he's a vampire, so like, you know, like, it's like, it's really hot.
That's hot.
Which also helps. So, loving this man written by this woman, truly Rain is like in my like top tier of fictional men that I've ever read about. The next one I want to talk about is someone that I've spoken about at length, and I've spoken about this book, The Duology, at length, but I want to talk about this character specifically. And I'm talking about Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. The first one in the series is obviously One Dark Window. The character that everyone can't stop talking about is Raven Yu, which, like, I love Raven. Raven is everything. Raven's gorgeous. Raven is literally perfect. Like, I love Raven.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular.
But what we're not talking about is in book 2 of this gorgeous duology, Elm, which is like Raven's cousin, Elm, who is like, he's Raven's cousin. He is the second in line for the throne. Technically, he has got an older brother who is horrible, the most evil man alive. Hate him. But like, Elm really shines in book 2 of the of this series of this duology. Like, Elm takes the helm. Well, that's a rhyme, whatever. Elm really like leads this book. Like, he has a major upbringing in this book and a major character arc that I like absolutely adored seeing through reading book 1 and into book 2. Like, Elm is like, people kind of just like write him off as like, he's just kind of like the nobody prince. Like, he's just kind of like, it's giving very much like Prince Harry and like William, like, you know, in the UK, very much like he's the spare, like no one really cares about him. Which also, sorry Harry, that's like a little bit insufferable of you. Sorry, your book is a little bit insufferable, but that's another topic for another day. Elm is kind of treated like that in that similar way, where like he's just kind of like the runaway prince. He was like horribly treated by his father, and he has suffered a lot of horrible things, and that's why he spent most of his time with Raven and the Yu family, and he grew up with them for a majority of his life because they like took him in and like they treated him like he was family, like he's like his brother, basically Raven's brother. And Elm really just like shines in this book. Like, he really comes into himself. He's extremely kind and like charismatic. He's very charming. I feel like there's just a lot of sides to him that you really get to see. You get to see this little like slightly artistic side to him, which like I think is really sweet, because he's really only seen as like a warrior and like someone who is like a pain dealer or whatever. Like, I feel like these are the things that you see from him. And in this book, you really see like new sides to him where he's like a lot softer. And something that I love is the way that he treats women. Like,
I just start crying. I need him so bad. It is a primal desire. It is a primal.
Because I just love the way that Elm treats Ione in this book. Like, Ione, like, people were really mad at her in the first book. I always knew, and I'm not going to spoil what the thing is, but I always knew the big plot twist in this one about Ione. I digress. I love the way that Elm treats her. I like that he treats her with respect and with dignity. And I love the way that he, like, is so there for her in her hour of need. And he doesn't, like, push her to the side. He doesn't just, like, forget about her. Like, she's not just some side character. Like, she's important to him and important to this legacy that they're creating. And she's important, like, she's an important character in this story. Like, I feel like Ione could have gotten written off in book 1, but I feel like because of Elm, I feel like because of Elm's impact and, like, by listening to her and by, like, respecting her and by, like, understanding what she's been through, she became this major player in this book. And I just, like, love her for it. I just think she's incredible. I feel like Elm and Ione are really there for the people who have been underestimated and, like, people don't trust them. And, like, because of their certain characteristics, like, especially because Ione is she's so lively and she just has so much feeling and, like, she feels so much. And Elm is very much like he's just been underestimated and, like, treated so poorly his whole life. Like, I feel like people just underestimate them, feeling like she's not strong enough and he can't handle it. And, like, I feel like they just really come into themselves. And I feel like Elm really, like, showed what a respectable and, like, kind-hearted person does, to listen to someone else and to listen to their story and to, like, understand them in, like, very deeply. I just love Elm. I adore him. I feel like he really just came into his own in this book. And I feel like he's one of my, like, he's definitely in, like, the top 10 best fictional men I've ever read about. Like, I just love him. The next fictional man I want to talk about is one from a gorgeous, folksy Scottish fantasy, and that is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. I feel like this book isn't one that I talk about a ton on my channel, and I want to talk about it more, and so I'm going to give you guys a quick plot summary. Basically, A River Enchanted is about, essentially, girls are going missing on this island, in, like, this fantasy world. They're going missing. There's an island divided by, like, 2 different, like, rival clans, feeling very Scottish vibes. And one side of the island, the girls are going missing. They bring someone back to the island to come and help, like, bring the girls back. And it's essentially, like, Adira and Jack. They are enemies. They left on really bad terms, but he comes back to the island to help see what he can do to help find the girls. There's a captain of the guard. His name is Torin. And normally, okay, I'll be honest, like, normally, I feel like my perspective on the captain of the guard, like, character, quote unquote, changes a lot. I feel like Kale Westfall from Throne of Glass really put a bad taste in my mouth. Sorry to all the Kale girlies out there, but, like, no.
Fine, but I'm not sorry either.
He put a bad taste in my mouth. Don't get me wrong, he redeemed himself, whatever. But he kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth about certain things. But I will say the captain of the guard trope for, like, a fictional man, I feel like can go one of 2 ways. I feel like they can be either, like, literally, like, the most, like, brave and loyal and, like, kind-hearted and, like, honestly sometimes a little bit too duty-bound to the point where I'm like, oh, they're so righteous, I just want to, like, punch him in the stupid face and then kiss him.
I hate you!
I hate you more!
But then there's sometimes where, like, or they're, like, super evil. I don't think that, like, it can go, I feel like both are fine, but, like, sometimes I'm just conflicted about the captain of the guard. But in this book, Torin is captain of the guard of this clan. He's extremely protective, and he's a father. He has a daughter who's, like, 4 or 5 years old, and he's married. His wife died, but he's married to a different woman named Cedra. And something that I really love about this book and about Torin is that he really has to, like, he struggles with, like, his inner demons. It's very much like a struggle of inner work that he's doing throughout this book. And I think that because you see his struggle, you see what he's willing to do, what he's willing to give up, what he's willing to fight for, it's really attractive to, like, see, like, what this man has been through and what he's willing to, like, change to, like, become a better person. Because I will say, like, he's extremely stubborn and, like, honestly kind of cute and kind of hot also, to be honest. Sorry, to be honest. It's very sweet. And I will say that the things that he is willing to, like, overcome to become a different person, to become less, like, hateful and spiteful and to, like, turn a new leaf over is really impressive and really amazing. And I feel like it's very much like a struggle, and you watch his struggle, but you can't help but like him because you also can relate to that kind of struggle of, like, not wanting to change and, like, you just want things to stay the same. And, like, I just really appreciate him and like his kindness and his like loyalty to the people and wanting to protect the people, and the way that he and Sidra like grow their relationship. Because a lot of the book is talking about how their relationship was based on the fact that like he married her because like his daughter needed a new mom and he really liked her, and like they really love each other. But also a lot of their life is devoted to the daughter. And so, you know, they also are like exploring these new themes of like, is it really us that we're like fighting for? Like, do we really connect? Is it, or was it only your daughter that was bringing us together? And that's something you discover throughout this book. And I really like those themes, and I really like him because he's just very much like, he acts like a grown man. He like takes responsibility and he like does what he needs to do, but he's extremely like pig-headed about it sometimes. But you can't help but love him. And I love Torin. Like, I think that he's a great example of like an almost like realistic fictional man. Because let's be real, some of these men are not realistic. Like, Rain is a vampire. Like, not realistic.
Okay. Whatever you say.
But Torin is kind of a guy that like I could see in real life, and I could see him living in the real world. And I kind of love that. Because don't get me wrong, I like love my like fictional men with like shadow powers and wings. But I also love like a salt of the earth kind of guy, like a Captain of the Guard type, where they're just extremely loyal and loving, but also like a little stubborn and pig-headed, and like they have to like overcome like inner turmoil. So Torin, very sexy, very kind, loving him. Please read about A River Enchanted. It's literally incredible. Of course, the man of the hour. The man of the freaking hour. And as I should have stated previously at the top of this video, if this was a fair and just world, I would just talk about Sarah J. Maas men. I truly, truly would. Like, honestly, I would just do a whole video on why all the SJM men are perfect. Like, every single one of them. Kale included. Kale is also perfect. Kale included. Like, truly, I would just, if this was a fair and just world, I would just talk about all the SJMs.
Life's not fair, is it?
Because Sarah J. Maas, like, writes some of the best men. And of course, like, I'm picking my favorite out of all of SJM's books. Like, that's excluding Cassian and Rhys and Azrael, my Bat Boys. That's excluding Hunt and Therian and Rune in Crescent City. I love. I mean, we all knew where this was going. We all knew where this is going. We all knew where this conversation was heading. And it's heading to the crown daddy of them all, Daddy Rowan Whitethorn.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not!
From Throne of Glass. Rowan Whitethorn. I can't tell you the amount that I love this man. I can't even like confess it, I feel like, because he is so perfect in my eyes. Like, he's so perfect. He's the pinnacle of fictional men. The pinnacle of men written by women. Rowan Whitethorn has done it all. He has everything that a woman wants. Like, unbelievable kindness, unbelievable loyalty, unimaginable power, unimaginable strength, the crushing weight of the trauma that he's overcome, the unbelievable connection that he has created between him and Aelin. And of course, just the fact that he's a good man. He's so good. He's perfect.
He's perfect.
I feel like he has one of the greatest character arcs of any man I've ever read about. He starts in such a dark, dark place. And I feel like the reason why he's so compelling is because he and Aelin grow together out of this darkness into the light. And that's what they talk about all the time. I have 1,000 sweatshirts with his quote on it, "To whatever end." Because to whatever end is as far as he will go. He will go to the end of everything with Aelin to support and love her. His loyalty and his devotion is what makes him so incredible. He loves her more than I don't think I've ever experienced love like that. To the point where he is willing to give up every part of himself to help her accomplish her goals and her dreams. And she is a strong, powerful, independent woman, and he respects that. He wants her on the throne. Like, I cannot get over, like, something that I think about all these fictional men that I've talked about, including especially Rowan, is pride. I feel like a lot of times when I'm meeting, like, when I see these strong, powerful women, I always think, like, there's going to be a pride complex. Like, someone's not going to be able, like, okay, I'm going to detour for a second. I think about Taylor Swift and all of the men that she's dated. And right now she's dating Travis Kelce. And the thing about the men that she's dated previously is I think that they, like, and this is just my own personal thoughts. If you completely disagree and you don't want my Taylor Swift tangent, just ignore this bit.
Let me put down my Stanley because I'm stepping up on my soapbox.
But what I'm saying is I feel like she's dated these men who have, like, these egos and these power complexes, and they cannot stand the fact that she is a, like, insane pop star, the biggest in the entire world, in my opinion, and they can't get over their ego, like their own career and their own choices and their own whatever, and they can't, the ego struggle and the power struggle of, like, letting her be the biggest thing in the room, like, gets in the way. But now that she's dating someone like Travis, who also, like, can match that energy, but also understands that he plays in a completely separate field than her and respects her game and she respects his, that's what makes them a great couple. And that's how I feel about Rowan and, like, all these fictional men that I talk about, is that there's no ego. There's no power struggle. There's no, like, well, like, I'm the man, so I have to be bigger and better and, like, I have to be, like, the top dog and I can't let you run the room. Let her run the room, dudes. Like, that is what I love about fictional men, is that they are, like, letting women run the show. They're letting them do their thing. They are being very supportive and very kind, and they are being main characters. Like, they are main characters, but they are also, like, letting them kind of run the show sometimes. And, like, he doesn't need to be all the time, but, like, I like that, like, Rowan is totally fine being, like, being the rock for Aelin, and he's, like, fine just, like, letting her run the show. He knows she's the biggest thing in this room, and he doesn't get butthurt about it. He doesn't have an ego about it. He doesn't have a power trip about it. He knows he's just as awesome and powerful as she is, but he doesn't need to make it known. He just lives with it. He just exists in this plane with no ego. It's beautiful. And I think that's what it is really about fictional men, is that there's, like, a lack of, like, the power trip of, like, someone needing to be better than the other. There's, like, a humbleness about all of these men that is just very humble. Like, they realize that we can both be the same and just exist on the same playing field. And that there doesn't have to be a power struggle of, like, well, like, I need to be the strong, big, strong man in charge. It's just, like, I know I'm a big, strong man. I know I'm hot as all get out. I know I'm the most powerful thing in this room, but also, so is my wife. Also, so is my lady. So is my girlfriend. Whatever it is. And I just think that Rowan, as well as all the guys that I've talked about today, represent that, like, equalness. And that's, I think, what it is the equalness between them is what makes these men so compelling, and what makes them so fun to read about, is that they get it. They're just like, yeah, like, they're equalness. Like, we are equal and matched in power and in strength. And even when we're not, like, there's no ego about it. There's no, like, power trip about it. It's just, like, who we are. We just can exist. And thank you for listening to my long tangent about that and whatever. But that's what I love about Rowan, is that he, I think, above all other men, understands the weight of what they're doing in this world. And he just can, like, he understands the weight of it and the monumentalness of it. And he understands it's going to require a lot from both of them, but he's willing to take that trip with her and not have an ego about it, that he needs to be the best, because he knows that he's with the best, and she knows she's with the best. And there's the equalness of it all. There's the equality of it all. And I freaking love him. And also, I'm sorry, but he's just the hottest thing on this planet. Just to include one more thing, because I also love to objectify him, because he's freaking gorgeous. He's 6'4" with blonde hair and tattoos on the side of his face. He can shape shift. He's got wind powers. Like, oh, I want to eat him up. He's so delicious. He's so delicious.
They've got that tiny little waist.
And that's why everyone needs to read Throne of Glass, first of all, is because there's just, like, this gorgeous balance that you have in Throne of Glass between all of the couples, but also the fictional men and fictional women are to die for. They are out of this world. So that is all the books that I have to talk to you guys about today. I hope that you enjoyed them. And if you did, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe to the Live in Literature YouTube channel. Again, thank you so much for listening to my rant about men written by women and listening to like what I love about this like new age fantasy genre and this new age genre of like these men written by women that are so compelling and so fun to read about. I hope that like I didn't scare any of you off with some of my opinions and my thoughts and my feelings. If I did, sorry, but also this is just how I feel. I hope that you guys can understand that. But regardless, I hope you have a great day. I love you all and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.